Welcome back, guys and girls, to Dad's Toy Garage. Today we are going to be building this quarter panel completely from scratch. So let's get into this. I will show you how I did this and that you can also build your own stuff at home with minimal tools. So let's roll right on with this. I'm super happy with how this turned out, and I think you guys are going to enjoy this video. So let's check it out. Alright, I have made a tool on a budget, all scrap metal and cut-offs from the local metal shop. I bought these square tubings, thick wall. I had to weld them together. I've got another one, so there's two. Basically what this thing does is it will allow me to put a flange, right angle flange on something. I need lots of them on this vehicle. I don't have a metal brake. That would be the ideal way to do it. They're a lot more than like the 80 to 100 Canadian dollars I have in this thing here. The metal brake I do have, it's not good. I modified it, trying to make it better, but it's a Princess Auto purchase. So basically what you do is you want your flange, you'll have it marked down, you'll set your piece in here. You're learning with me here, guys. I haven't done this yet. You'll set this on top, line it up. And I should note, it's long because I can lay my whole quarter panel on here. And I can do the edge that will fit against the B-pillar on the vehicle of this Land Cruiser. So, as long as these things fit here, okay, I'm going to grab some ear muffs. So I should be able to tap this down. There we go. I've been doing a device up till now, and that's little by little. This is a lot faster for me. Again, this isn't a professional tool. This is the one that's going to work for me. And you can finesse it a little bit more, but when we unbolt this, I now have a right angle flange. So yeah, I got the flange I need to do a weld edge for this Land Cruiser. Alright, guys and girls, I got my quarter panel template on here. I got a Sharpie, and I leave a bit of gap. What I'm also going to have to do once I trace this is I'm going to have to add probably go 3/4 inch extra around all of this, and then I'll have to bend a flange onto there so that it holds its strength. So I'll just start tracing this out here, and then we'll add the extra, and then I'll cut it. And this template should be able to use for both sides, except we won't need a fuel door on the other side. But that's just going to be there, and it's be multi-purpose. So I'll show you guys when I'm done, and then we'll cut it out. Alright, guys and girls, here is the passenger side quarter panel, and fuel door opening will get cut. This is going to be the flange here. I went with 3/4 inch like factory here, and then I went outside and measured Bob's Dodge Ram and my F-150, and that is a 1-inch wheel arch that was on both of those vehicles. So I'm going to assume that's a good width to go. I was thinking 3/4 here, but the more I look at it, the inch makes sense. So this is quarter panel edge where the 90-degree will be bent in, and we'll cut along here. And I'll probably do some pie cuts in here to bend these over, and then I'll slit weld it. That's the only way I can think of doing it with my tool set. I know other guys would be able to just stamp this down. I feel like I could do that once I put the shrinker and stretcher in there, but try and hold a 16-gauge piece of steel in a shrinker and stretcher would be impossible for me, or even two guys. So and then I might start what's supposed to be a flat panel, getting it wavy. What are you working on, Bob?
Well, I'm working on a project that I started about over a decade ago. and finally starting to do some work on it. I've got a 79 Plymouth Valari that has bad rails, and no, this is not my car. It's in a trunk of another car. My dad had a station wagon that I could rob parts off of, and these rails look better than the ones on my car. They look like garbage right now, but I kid you not, they are in better condition than what I have, so I'm working on getting this rail repaired, working on the inner structure right now, as this actually has basically a U-channel going on here, and then also an L bracket inside on this corner here just to help give it a little bit more strength and bracing. It was pretty much rotten and gone when I was cutting it out, but we'll get her fixed up right.
And being a Chrysler Dodge family group muscle car, they make all the parts for it, right?
There is zero aftermarket parts from AMD.
So less than my Celica, hey?
Less than your Celica. If I can find them on other parts cars, it works. Problem is with this one, it was a station wagon and I've got a coupe. So the only thing that works is basically the front fenders.
We've got it right here.
Yeah, the front clip. And that's what I've got right here. So
sweet deal. And so the parts that are shot on this one is this piece here, and he's already into building this one here, and we got the templates made for it. That was last time's project. So a couple weeks and we'll have it done, hey?
It'll be a few weeks.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, hopefully. I don't get to come out and work often. I don't have a shop at my house that I get to do, at least that my wife lets me do stuff in for now. But we'll get her done as soon as I can get this done. I've got rocker inner and outers at home already made to get put in. So that's going to be my spring project and summer project next year.
Where can they check out your project?
So I'm going to actually be posting some project stuff on my Instagram page. It's at Bobo's Hot Rod Fab Shop, _in between every word.
We'll put it kind of like right here on the screen,
yeah,
or here above his head, or tickling his chin, you know.
Might be in the description.
Yeah.
But I'll be doing some posting on there. I'm not very good at doing the social media stuff, but
you get a post once in a while, right?
I'll post once in a while when I get like big things done. So I like to make posts kind of like how Vice Grip Garage makes videos. He starts from the beginning and finishes right to the end. I like to do my posts that way. Start from the beginning and work to the end.
Yeah. All in one post.
Different items. So,
yeah.
Yeah. It'll be a lot of fun.
Nice. All right. Hopefully this is going to be a quarter panel. And I'm going to attempt, instead of welding in a straight round piece on this edge, I'm going to fold each one of these down. I've just slightly scored it here, not through, just enough that I can fold it over so it will want to bend on those points. And I'm not going to fold this edge down into a 90 because we got our curve happening right here. But the rest of it I'll fold down to 90, including this, and I can start fitting it up to the vehicle. And I'm going to attempt to bend it around the framework. You'll see what I mean when we get to it, but the top rail and the bottom still have the curve. See if we can bend it on that. All right, guys and girls, quarter panels in my handmade metal brake big tool that really only does one thing, which is built for these flanges. Now I have to figure out what type of hammer I want, and that I put the flange the right way because I don't want to rebend it. So I believe if I hit this down, we're looking at the outside now. I'm going to start with a rubber mallet with gloves, because if you miss, it shears off your skin. So yeah, so that's going to work really good. I'll hammer it flat and I'll show you guys what we end up with here. And I think the rubber mallet to do most of it because it's softer on the curves. Having it clamped will keep the panel from warping because essentially it could do what a shrinker stretcher does, and you'll have your panel curved, and this has to stay absolutely flat. So I'll get on this, and then probably finish with this guy here because my body handles are shot. Well, that worked marvelous. I'm very happy with it. The biggest thing is trying to get this lined up where it needs to be, so that when you do the fold, it's actually where you want the fold. But when I pull this out of the clamps, we're going to have a nice 90 edge on there. I'm going to go around now. I think I might have mentioned earlier, but we'll recap it. This edge, that one, and then I'll bend up all these tabs, weld them up. I'll save this one for later once we have the bend on the truck. I'm going to try bending around the rear of the truck, and then we'll bend up this one too. Hopefully it falls where I need it to fall and doesn't get conflicted with the bottom of the rear sill. So a corner will start like this for me, and then when I hammer and dolly it all into place, it's ready to be welded. So I'm going to tack weld all these. I've hammered and dollied them so it's nice and round. I'll probably come from the inside here, and then I'll grind flush whatever I need here. I was going to stick a piece of copper over each weld, but I think I've lent that out to somebody. I think my dad might have it. So I'm going to just work with what I got here. Alright guys and girls, here it is. I've made a bunch of progress on it. You can see how I've accomplished the welds on here. What I'm finding is I probably should let them cool a little bit more before going on to the next ones. I thought I had. I'm going to have to work slower as I go on to the other side. But you can see it's warped up a bit. So I'm going to grind these welds smooth and see if I can get it in the shrinker stretcher. And that should allow to pull the tension out of this edge and that edge and drop it back down. Because I'd like to keep this panel as flat as possible. I mean, you can push it and it'll stay down. But I would like it not to be under tension when I install it. Alright, so I solved the issue where it was warped, and basically what I did was on the back side of the panel I had this dolly on the inside here. I kind of hammered on the inside on this edge with this hammer, and I just stretched the metal out here, and then I flipped it over, and there's a bit of a crown here and here. So on the edge I just tapped it down a little bit here, and that leveled this right off. So it should go on fairly straight now, and that makes me happy, and it helps knowing those principles of metalworking. Starting to learn those things makes a big difference. Quarter panel is fit up, doing a little test fit. We'll get in there and we'll take a good look at how close it's supposed to be. This is the bottom where the rockers are going to come, and look at the fit here, guys. I have no issues with that. We'll pull it tight here yet. And then I've just put it on with, we're using these screws here. Take a look at the label. And they look like this. So I got a couple of them along the top. And we got a nice wheel arch lip in here. The other thing I'm going to be doing is welding this guy in here. And that'll fit very nice. I gotta clean that up a bit and stuff so it looks right. It's got some of the old metal in there still that I'm not keeping. The other thing we've got to do now is I'm gonna have to bend it around these curves. And I think with a bit of effort I can manually bend this to that shape and plug weld it in place is my goal. And I'll put some sheet metal screws in there and in there as I go along. I think that will work. I'll probably use these clamps to pull it tight as well. Do a clamp, screw kind of thing. So I do not have a slip roller. I had to use some unconventional tools, I guess. This piece of exhaust tubing worked really well in small increments, as well as this drum, which we probably has some gun wash in it. We'll keep it that way. But we're getting the curve in there. I'm almost there. And now that I'm on here, I'm just finessing it over. My rubber mallet, going in small increments as it bends and sits. I put a screw in there and I slowly work it around, and I got these clamps. Here is a deep mouth clamp, or just a deep clamp. And here is another style clamp. And I just keep slowly working it over, holding it down, screwing it. So it seems to be working pretty good. When that's done, then this quarter we'll just need the bottom folded over and welded up, and probably a little bit of trimming, as you can see on this side here. Alright guys and girls, I realized I can't just go take this off now and bend the flange, because this will spring back a little bit, because I've had to bend it around the vehicle because I don't have a slip roller. So what I did was, you can see here I have to bend this flange into a 90 yet, but here is nothing. I've cut it off till about here. So I've made a little piece here. I marked it front and back. It'll go in this way. This is the template, and it's going to kind of slide underneath like that. I'm going to tack weld it in place on the vehicle here, and then I can pull it off, and this should help hold this whole panel, hold its shape. At the very least, this will be the right curve, so it kind of looks like this. And I think that's how I'm gonna have to do both sides like this, because I don't have a fancy machine that would stamp this pattern and automatically would just fold underneath. So this is gonna go in here. You can kind of see overlap there. It's gonna get slid all the way in, and we're gonna make that out of the same steel that I cut this out, because there's a bit of cutout material there. And I'll tack it in place, and this thing will come off. We'll fold this edge in. I'll finish folding this edge in here. So I've also trimmed this up here to fit flush now. I'm contemplating cutting this along here to about this point, because this is, if you look here, it's a little bit rusty. I'm not sure. I might cut this to about there, and then this will just get welded right to that. I have to make that call yet. Alright guys and girls, I've got the piece made. You can see the shape of it there. What I'm going to do is weld it in here. Set into place. Tack welder down. And then we'll have this curve made. And I'm going to take it off and do that one to match. And weld this edge up here. I think that'll work rather nicely. And then we got to figure out the top section yet. But this is what we got to do, one piece at a time. Alright guys, girls, I think we're pretty much done this thing as far as I'm going to take it before we start building that rocker panel down there, or sill, depending what country you're in. That's going to be next video. But yeah, let's have a quick look here. We're at the last bit that I did on here. I've folded this in, I welded it and welded it. This will need grinding yet. You guys won't care to see grinding, I'm thinking. So it's nice and stiff now, like super stiff. That did it a lot for it. So we get up in here. You can see up in there where I've joined the two together, and it wraps around. So right here is that little strip from here up till there. And we'll grind it up nice and smooth yet.